because I'd been going to this kind of social for a while, I knew a lot of the people there already, right? And so when I did get in there, it was relatively easy for me to go ahead in and, and kind of start making some connections immediately, or at least kind of catching up with people that I already knew, you know. Um, some new people in there as well, which is always nice, which is cool. But mostly kind of interacting with people I already knew in the limited time there. Then from there, that was in Penn Quarter, a Dirty Habit. Then from there, I went to Whitlow's. Whitlow's is always a good time, in my opinion. Uh, and it was cool, interacting with a few different people. And then from Whitlow's, went to Flash, right? Stayed at Flash for several hours as well. They're open very late. And so they're interacting with people. But kind of two lessons here, right? One is about momentum, right? When you go out and you're really on top of going out and trying to befriend people, you can start to build momentum, right? What happens is, you have, a couple of interactions that go very well. That kind of, in a sense, primes the pump or gets you in a talkative mood, in a friendly mood, in a more open mood. And then when you're having interactions following that, they tend to flow a bit easier, right? Now, the same thing can also work in the opposite direction, where if you go out, you start to feel anxiety or pressure, or start to feel like you're stagnating for too long, right? This can cause you to maybe get in your head, maybe start second guessing yourself, maybe feeling a little bit down, which can then contribute to you kind of staying stuck, right? Not being able to break out of it or having a much harder time to break out of it, right? So social momentum kind of is a real thing, right? And it can work positively or negatively, right? For you or against you. Now, in my case, there was a big period, particularly after getting to Flash, where I was a bit stagnant, right? And I could feel it weighing on me more as time went on, right? And towards the very end, I definitely did break out of it and experienced the other side of things where, talk to one person, then another one quickly after, then another one quickly after, another one quickly after. And it was like, if I had been doing that all night, I would have been, king of the club. But that's not how it happened, right? And that gets me into really the second main point of this video, right? The second learning point, which is that when you feel like things could have gone better, of course, recognize that and think about it and assess where you could improve next time. But at the same time, if you are too hard on yourself, if you're really beating yourself up, then that can and will work against you, right? I think a good way to think about working on social skills and kind of building this skill set up is that each time you go out, it's another rep, right? Another repetition like you would in the gym, right? You're not going to, lift one weight one time and all of a sudden become ripped and shredded, right? To really, build muscle, it takes prolonged effort, prolonged hypertrophy, prolonged time under tension, right? And a lot of those same principles apply to building up your social muscle or your social skills, right? It's going to take a lot of interactions, a lot of really to put it frankly, a lot of interactions that don't go as well as you want. And that is part of the learning curve, right? Things are never going to, well, depending on your expectations, things may never go as well as you want. But a helpful thing can be to, when you are feeling a little bit down, take it as an opportunity to recommit, to rededicate yourself to this process of improvement, and don't beat yourself up, right? Recognize it's another opportunity to improve, another opportunity to practice, another opportunity to learn, and take it with a bit of gratitude, right? You're out there living your life, enjoying the night, right? Not knowing where it will take you, but there's a chance that meet that you can meet someone who changes the whole trajectory of your life, right? And you just never know. So be grateful, don't beat yourself up, and be aware that momentum can work for you or against you. So try and get on top of it. Try and start talking to people early. Try and build on that when you can, so that you are making the most of it, so that you're doing your best, and so that things kind of flow more easily and more naturally, right? Have a good night, y'all. I'll see you in the field.